Hey guys, Sarah Picaro here. Today's video is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be about narcissism and narcissistic abuse, but it is going to be about something that's connected and related to that. And that is something that almost everyone that I work with has experienced or is currently experiencing before working together, and that is anxiety. And they feel riddled with anxiety, flooded with anxiety, and it impacts every area of their life. Even if you're out of that toxic and unhealthy relationship and now you're in a new one, or you're in a new job, or whatever it is going on in your life, if you have anxiety, which absolutely stems from being in a relationship with an emotionally unavailable or toxic person, a narcissistic person, you were riddled with anxiety. And you're probably told to, well, just listen to your gut instinct, right? Especially if you're in a stage of putting yourself out there again or getting into another relationship or another job, another position. You don't know what to do and you feel this anxiety, and people tell you, well, just listen to your intuition, right? Just listen to your gut. And you may think, I don't even know how to do that anymore because all I feel all the time, all day, every day is anxiety. And I feel paralyzed. I can't even do anything because of this anxiety. It seems to be taking over and consuming and ruling my life. So this video is going to highlight 9 different ways to tell the difference between your gut instinct and anxiety. So first and foremost, if you are struggling and suffering from anxiety, know that you no longer have to live with this. That's one of the most common presenting symptoms of people who come to work with me, regardless of where you're coming from or what's been done to you. Anxiety is there. It's very, very real, but it does not have to be something that you live with forever. It's very much connected to those beliefs that you have about yourself because of those past experiences, and triggers this worry about it happening in all ways and all phases and stages and places in your life. So we can get you to a space where that's gone and you're so tuned in and dialed into your gut instinct and your intuition that it seems like nothing bothers or phases you. The anxiety is gone. So when you're there, when you're at that point, you're ready to completely transform, please reach out to me and connect. There are links in the description below this video. We'll walk you through exactly what that looks like to work together if you're interested in transformational healing to get rid of that anxiety very, very quickly, so that you can tune in and listen to your gut instinct and intuition. So this video is going to go over 9 ways to tell the difference between those two, however, because you may not even know where to start, how to begin, and what the difference is. So with that, what feels like intuition is like a thought, right? A thought that won't go away. Anxiety can feel like intuition, and you may think, well, it's like the butterflies in my stomach, but that actually might be anxiety. And some people mistake it or mislabel it for intuition. So vice versa. So these feelings and the terms can be interchangeable, and most people will be very, very confused by them. How do I know if it's intuition or anxiety, right? Because it feels like, it presents like butterflies in my stomach. So that's because if you do struggle with anxiety, your gut, that intuition, is overactive, and it's often interpreting messages and signals from external information. Internal sensations are there to tell you that something is off externally. They're passing through you as thoughts and connecting with and having a physical impact on your body. So you get that feeling, right, in your intuition, in your gut, maybe that feels like butterflies, but it actually could potentially be anxiety. So that's why it's so important to get clear on this and understand that what's within you, what you're thinking, leads to what you're feeling, leads to how it physically presents in your body. And when you clear and remove the cause of the anxiety, then you can tune into your intuition. There's nothing blocking you from aligning with that. So you really feel safe and protected by your intuition. You know it's there to guide you and protect you. And that's exactly what you want. And you think that's what the anxiety is going to give you, but it doesn't. So something is there blocking it. So removing the anxiety from your life allows you to connect and align with that intuition so that you can see, think, and feel things clearly and calmly, right? So here are some things to keep in mind when you're looking for how to know or be able to tell the difference. Well, the first one is that anxiety doesn't let up. right? Your intuition will come and go. It's there to protect you and keep you safe. So it lets you know things that you need to know when you need to know it. But anxiety is there all the time. It doesn't let up. It doesn't come and go. It seems like it comes and stays. So that's one of the easiest ways to tell the difference between a gut instinct and anxiety is how long are these symptoms lasting. A gut instinct is often a reaction to an immediate situation. You get this gut instinct, this feeling something is off. But on the other hand, anxiety is present and seems to be there regardless of what's going on. It's always there. So that's one of the main differences is anxiety doesn't let up. Intuition is there and is there again to guide you, protect you, and keep you safe. So let's say, for example, wherever it is that you park after work, you got off work late and you are walking to get to your car by yourself and your intuition kicks in and you think something doesn't feel right. I am going to call one of my colleagues and make sure that they walk with me, or I'm going to go a different way because my intuition, my gut instinct is telling me something's off. So maybe you choose to go another route, and that could be because there was potential harm in the way that you were going. But that's not the same as anxiety. Anxiety is you're worried and worried and worried all day long, all day while you're working and while you're walking to your car. It's not that like immediate thing. So there's a big difference between the two. And what anxiety does that intuition doesn't do is anxiety causes you to worry. Well, that's exactly what anxiety is. It's worry that has spiraled out of control. And it's worry. Most people would say it's just worry about the future, but so many people that I work with worry also about the things that they can't even change because they're in the past. I worry and wonder about constantly what would things be like if I had, right? How would things be different if I had done this instead of that? But it's constant worry. That's what anxiety is. And it's worry that has spiraled out of control. And it's a process of thinking and not being able to stop thinking about things that you're worried about. It does tend to be a future focused thing. So if your head is swimming with like what if situations, hypothetical situations and scenarios, that's different. That's not your gut instinct. That's not your intuition. That's anxiety. Symptoms of anxiety oftentimes keep you up at night, even though you're physically exhausted, you can't sleep, you never feel calm enough to just relax. It feels like it fills up your mind. You can feel it as a physical heaviness, as a weight on your shoulders or a weight on your chest. Maybe you worry about relationships too much. You worry about things that are outside of your control. You worry about the future. You worry about what's going to happen. All of these things that you really don't have any control over. But that's what anxiety is worry about all those things. And it's just really kind of constantly playing that what if game. What if things would have happened like this? How would they be different? So that's one of the biggest differences. Another difference between intuition and anxiety is anxiety causes feelings of uncertainty. Intuition, you have a feeling of certainty. I don't know what that was, but I know that the intuition is going to kick in to protect me. And I feel really, really certain that I did the right thing. But anxiety causes feelings of uncertainty. So it's very different from intuition. While both intuition and anxiety can create feelings of being unsettled, anxiety will lead to uncertainty, while intuition instincts feel more assured, more you can feel like you can trust them more because they're more short-termed and short-lived, and they feel more concrete. You kind of feel like, ooh, yeah, I'm really, really glad I listened to my gut that day or listened to my intuition when I felt it. So your gut is your internal wisdom, your focus point. It's your internal compass and director. And sometimes when you feel that gut instinct or that intuition, and it's telling you go this way when you're thinking, but I thought I wanted to go that way, but you listen to it, you may kind of toggle back and forth and think, well, I don't know, I really wanted to go that way, but something inside is telling you, go this way instead. I know you wanted to go that way, but just trust me, go this way. Anxiety isn't really something that you can trust, but your gut instinct and your intuition is something that you can trust. Of what is there to do is to guide you, protect you, and keep you safe. And so you may be afraid to go this way because your mind may have been stuck on and seeing yourself going that way, but that's the difference, and that's what it's there for. So if you're kind of toggling back and forth and you can't decide what to do, just be assured that whatever is on your mind that feels better that feels more certain, more grounded, and more assured, that is intuition and gut instinct. Anxiety doesn't feel like that. Anxiety causes you to feel uncertain. You know what? If I do go this way, that feels certain. That feels better. If I go this way, I'm still really unsure and uncertain. So that's the difference between the feeling of anxiety and intuition. One feels more certain while the other feels really uncertain. Another difference and way to decipher between what is anxiety and what is intuition is the interference on your everyday life. So anxiety interferes constantly with everyday life. Gut instincts and intuition, they don't interfere constantly with everyday life, but anxiety does. And anxiety begins to negatively impact every area of your life. So if you are trying to decipher between the two what this is, when our gut instinct and our intuition is there, it doesn't interfere with every aspect of your life. It's there, it comes in, it gives you a sign, a message, you listen to it or you don't, and then it leaves. But sometimes when you don't listen to it, then you can feel anxiety, but that's different from an intuition. A gut instinct will more than often steer you away from an unsafe situation, but anxiety might steer you away from all situations. You're just so, and you feel it in your body. So that will steer you away from most situations, where intuition will steer you away from unsafe situations. Not all of them, like anxiety does, or most of them. I'm not going to say all or none, but for majority of situations. So when that's the case, and anxiety is the ruler of your life, that's part of the problem, is that you feel so out of alignment with, you can't even feel your gut instinct and your intuition anymore. That's why it's so important. And if you're interested in this, talking more about doing one-to-one work and services together to get rid of the anxiety so that you can align with and connect with your intuition, so that you feel that sense of safety, comfort, and protection as you navigate, go about your day and through this world without all the worry and all the internal dialogue and chaos that's keeping you back from that. Okay, because anxiety, this is another thing, cause many prolonged symptoms. It's like a snowball effect. So it's not something that feels fun to live with. We got to get to the core and the root of what's causing these anxious feelings, especially if they feel impending, if they feel dooming, if they feel like they're never ending, right? Even if what was causing the anxiety was this particular job or this particular relationship, but now that's over. The job and the relationship is gone. It's in the past. You're not involved in it anymore, but the anxiety isn't over and in the past. You're still involved with it. So you took the anxiety with you. That's a problem. So it causes many prolonged symptoms. That excessive worry and spiraling out of control can lead to restlessness. It can lead to fatigue. It leads to brain fog. It leads to irritability. It leads to anger. It leads to your muscles tensing up constantly. So you may notice that you're always sore. You're always tense. I've worked with many clients who had so much anxiety that their hands would start shaking. And when their hands would start shaking, they would start to eat because they needed something to do to kind of calm their bodies down. So they would kind of sit there and tap their legs, or their hands would be shaking. They would need to leave situations because they were so anxious about them. And this can impact you in the workplace because maybe you need to leave. You develop this cough or this kind of scratching or irritation. I've had clients in the past before that said they just felt itchy all over their body, but that gives them an excuse of, okay, well, I'm really uncomfortable with this feeling, so I need to remove myself. I need to go. I need to get out of this situation. So I'm going to go do that instead. And then it leads to kind of just external chaos that's created because of this anxiety and trying to escape it or run from it. And that one of the biggest things as well with the prolonged symptoms is it leads to lack of sleep, difficulty sleeping, or needing medications to fall asleep or to stay asleep. So see how it snowballs and it just builds so many other problems with it. So it's really profoundly helpful to get to the core and the root of it and see what it is that's causing that within you, because you're different from anyone else. So someone else can say, oh, anxiety is because of this. And you may kind of go down that road and realize that didn't work for me. So in order to tune into and connect with your intuition, the anxiety's got to go first. That's like first things first, right? So again, if you're interested in transformational healing and working one-to-one together to get to that very, very quickly, then let's connect. You can find the descriptions in this video in the links. But before we go there, let's get into more of how to tell the difference. So with your gut instinct, you can actually verify what it is that it's that the message that it's trying to tell you, that thing that it's trying to protect you from, keep you away from, and trying to keep you safe in regards to. So let's say you have a gut instinct that something is off in your house, right? That, I don't know, let's just say like plumbing is off or something. So in your house, you have this gut instinct. Maybe you leave the house and you're thinking, I don't know, something like didn't sound right or feel right this morning. And you go back home and you check, and maybe this just happened to me a couple months back, the water heater started leaking. And I just had this feeling that something was off. I had no idea what it was, but it wasn't something that I was constantly worried about. It was just this feeling. So I go home, and as I pull into the garage, there's water all over the floor. Okay, well, something was off, right? And now I knew what it was. It was the water heater that was leaking and needed replacing. That's a gut instinct. That's an intuition, a feeling that something is off, but it can be verified. Like there's proof of what it was. Oh, that's what it was. I didn't know what it was at first, but now I have evidence and proof of why I had that feeling that something was off. But anxiety, you can't verify or test or prove. You're just anxious and worried about everything, but there's no, oh, that was it. So if you're wanting to tell the difference between intuition, that gut instinct, and anxiety, know that with your intuition and your gut, you're going to have some proof. Oh, that's what it was, right? You may not always, because you may have avoided something that your intuition knew was there, and you may not always get proof of it, but that is one indicator of the difference. So anxiety doesn't give you that relief, and there's no concrete evidence for what it was, because you just kind of have it all the time, and it leads to other symptoms and problems down the road. Another cool thing about intuition and gut instinct is there are patterns in them. So intuition and gut instinct is like this in the moment, how you feel right now. And it's based on a survival strategy of pattern recognition. So say, for example, however your furniture is arranged, that you're walking somewhere in your house and you trip over something, and you kind of have this intuition and this gut instinct. Hey, if I go that way again and that thing is still there, I'm gonna trip again, and that didn't feel very good. So now you're more cautious and you look, but it's not something that you're worried about constantly. And now, because you hurt yourself trying to get around that one thing, you're so afraid to even move because you think you're going to hurt yourself on everything, right? So there's a big, big difference. And another big difference is your gut instinct, your intuition really helps keep you grounded, centered, and focused. And anxiety does not do that. Gut instincts can cause you to slow down. They can allow you to really tune into, guide, navigate, and direct you where you need to go and what steps you need to take next. So that's one of the biggest things. With anxiety, you have no clear picture in your mind of what to do or how to do it or when to do it or who to do it with. You're just so worried about all of it. But your gut instinct is there to navigate, center, guide, and direct you. That's one of the biggest differences between your intuition and anxiety. Anxiety just causes this complete destruction and chaos of your inner mind and leads to distorted thinking. You feel scattered. You feel all over the place. You don't know which way is up and which way is down. When you're connected to your intuition, you know the direction that you're going and the path that you need to take, because you just feel it. You're in tune with it. You're aligned with it. So gut instincts, when you follow that guidance, that navigation, and that path, it often takes you to a solution. Anxiety doesn't provide solutions, but your gut instinct, your intuition does take you towards the path, towards a solution. So that is one of the beautiful things about listening to, connecting with, and tuning into your intuition, is because then you live in a world where you're creating things, right? Because there's a solution to this perceived threat or problem, right? So it can take you down a path where you feel really, really good when you get to the end of it. So again, to get back to Anxiety, the biggest difference is it's worry. It keeps you up at night. It causes so many other physical symptoms in your body that lead you to not being able to do other things. You're not going to be productive in your job and your day-to-dayness because you're so tired, you're so exhausted from being up all night worried from that anxiety. And now you're irritable, you're overeating, whatever it is, you're snacking. I mean, so many things. And these are all things that I take from the clients that I work with that tell me how anxiety in their life has impacted them prior to working together. But you clear and remove that, then you can connect with your intuition. So when you're there, if you're feeling that anxiety, know that you don't have to live with it forever. I don't believe in needing to take an abundance of medications to cover and mask the symptoms of it. I truly believe in getting to the core and the root of it so that you can remove that. And then the symptom of anxiety goes with it, and doing that in a very, very natural way, using the power of your mind, right? Because that's what's keeping this problem going anyway. So when you are ready to do that, especially if this is anxiety and worry from a relationship where it's just generalized and it's impacting all of your relationships, the one with yourself, with your partners, with your friends, with your family, with your children, all the relationships you have in your life, especially the ones that mean the most to you, then you want to have those be happy, healthy, and fulfilling. And they can't be if anxiety is ruling your life. You want to get rid of that so you can listen to and be guided and directed by your intuition. And if you feel like that's been off for so long and you're ready to turn it on, then let's connect. Again, you can find more information in the description and the links below this video. Until then, I hope you have found this video helpful in navigating and distinguishing the differences between intuition and anxiety, because it can kind of be confusing if you don't know the difference. So hopefully that's more clear for you now.